Love podcasts, hate nonsense. It's the PoliticsJOE. What?
Your voice is so fucked. That's so fucked.
We've started. You might be able to guess I'm not going to do very much talking during this episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Why does your voice sound like that?
Look, Ed, when some people asked at the beginning of the stag do whether Wednesday was too early to start, they were right. Yeah, 5 days in Prague. So.
5 days in Prague is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Oh, I've said that word again. Do you know that I hadn't said that since you picked up on it and said, you've been saying that a lot recently.
And maybe it's me.
And it made me so embarrassed that I didn't say it.
Sorry. Yeah. Maybe it's my extraordinary intellect that makes you say extraordinary all the time.
But there has been extraordinary situations and I haven't been able to label them as such.
Out of the ordinary, spectacular, massive.
I'd sound like such a dick if I was like, what
out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Oh, how spectacular.
Can I just say as well, like, none of you have whooped, clapped or cheered since we started the podcast. You all just laughed at me.
Well, I think the laughing was the spirit of the whooping. It was more enthusiastic, the laughter, than any whooping has been.
You say it like...
I love the way he says it.
Yeah, in Family Guy.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Whoop. Yeah.
Fantastic.
You know when he says cool whip? Yeah.
You say whoop.
Whoop,
Woo,
yeah.
woo.
Whoop. Whoop.
Will you do it again?
With it,
Will you just do some whooping for me? I'm not going to do the intro again. Yeah, very good. Okay, do it again one more time.
Yeah, okay. Now?
Woo! Oh.
Misfire.
Oh.
Misfire.
I swear this never happens to me, darling. Fucking hell, right. The golden boy of politics, Joe Ed Campbell, how are you?
Doing well. I think better than you.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you're doing better than me
Jesus.
right now. It's hit me like a fucking brick wall. I only had 1 pint yesterday as well. I know.
That was one too many.
I thought I'd been given like a reprieve. You know, sometimes you get the hangover and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I've lucked out here.
No, you pushed it back.
It was a false dawn. And it was just a stay of execution. And yeah, it hit me like a fucking brick wall.
Morning or evening did you have the pint?
Morning, first
Morning, yeah.
Yeah.
What, and then just had one?
Yeah.
And then went...
With a chicken bacon club sandwich.
Yeah.
Great story about the chicken club sandwich. The club sandwich, someone explained it to me. Someone tried to tell me that it's called a club sandwich because it's chicken lettuce under bacon. Ava Santina as well, capital J journalist, you right?
Yeah, great.
Glad to have you here.
firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. I had a terrible morning, as you know.
Well, please tell everyone else.
I woke up at about 6 o'clock to my phone not working.
How did you wake up? No alarm as well?
I always wake up
Body clock.
like Frankenstein, like coming out of the tomb.
Respect that.
Being jolted to life by electricity.
Yeah, I thought it might have been that woke me because my phone wasn't working and my charger was like basically in my eyeball. Yeah,
struck by lightning.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, I go through this 2-hour panic of like, I haven't got a phone. I call Vodafone. I buy a new phone. I go to collect the phone, and very nice tech guy there was like, "Can I see your old phone?" And he just turned it on, and there was nothing wrong with it. It was just off.
A nightmare.
It was just off. So
nice.
Big morning.
Yeah, big morning. Have you had a big morning?
No. Well, not. I think nothing compares to Ava's morning. Went to the gym before work, but that's.
I feel
Did you before work? Really?
Yeah.
I feel like my morning compares more strongly to Ava's morning. I feel like mentally I'm in Guantanamo Bay right now. It's like an attritional war of like me against me. I'm like fully in the trenches right now. The woman who ran the Airbnb, well, it was not an Airbnb, it was like an apartment hotel, has sent a photo of one of the flats that the guys were staying in, complaining about the condition it was left in. And they put that down the WhatsApp group this morning, and I was getting flashbacks. And I was like, okay, well, fucking get me out of this WhatsApp
How did you leave it? What was yours like? I like to imagine you make your bed when you leave an Airbnb.
No, I don't. I strip the bed and put it in the... No. There were 2 flats. R1 didn't have the stag in it. So ours wasn't the host for pre-drinks and stuff. So we just had to like tidy up the plates that we'd eaten croissants off in the morning and things like that.
How delicious. It is very funny, the idea of you just come back from a 5-day holiday in Prague, you're presenting a podcast like, this is just like Guantanamo Bay. Oh my God.
No, okay, look, I'm being slightly
I've been waterboarded.
mentally,
There
it
was
does
that
feel
guy
like
that really pissed me off this morning. This like like, I'm trying to make this like not obvious. A presenter in Bristol who'd been at a festival over the weekend and was like posted some nice photos of them at the festival. And they were like, oh, grueling weekend reporting from this festival. And it really pissed me off, really annoyed me.
Were they being tongue in cheek?
No, he meant it, grueling.
I don't know. There is something like, I know it is a holiday. I haven't got no idea who you're fucking talking about. So I'm just going to make this about me again. There is something quite grueling. Like it's fun, but it's not like a nice old time. Like stag doing. It's not like I understand the joke you're making about me, which is fair, but it's not been a restful time at all.
Do you think stag do's have become more brutal in recent decades? Because I was recently at my uncle's 60th, and as a present, someone who'd been on his stag do had given him they had, for the original stag do, which was made in 1994, they printed out like a double spread mock-up newspaper report about what it was going to be, and it was so tame and gentle. There was nothing like I'm going to give my uncle a fake name, John. Which is a great fake name. There's nothing like, oh, John is a horrible bastard and we hate him. I was like, John likes playing inside centre for the local rugby club. Like a really nice profile of each person on the stag do. Whereas now it's like, oh, fucking Ollie's a paedophile, and that's the newspaper spread.
Yeah, there's a bit of stuff like that. I don't know. I was chatting to the old boys on this one and on my own and others I've been on. There was very definitely they were slightly terrified about the drinking that's involved, because they would say that sort of at most previously they would sort of do 2 days in a pub, but it would be they'd get there at open and they'd stay there till the end or have a lock-in, but they weren't clubbing until 5 a.m. and then waking up and getting on it again and going back out again. So I think maybe they have. There's almost certainly some kind of deeper psychological analysis we could do about why
the crisis of masculinity.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be like that when I start doing hens. One hen I went on was awful.
Really
awful. Yeah, it was like a spa weekend, and I just found the whole thing deeply uncomfortable. They're not my friends anymore.
Was it like Guantanamo Bay?
Brief foray into that friendship group that I was like, I'm going to stick with my own friends from now on. No new friends.
Imagine having a hen weekend so bad. Someone's like, I'm out.
Yeah, I really was.
I'm done with this
the friendship group and the wedding.
There was a schedule in the morning for who could shower when, and I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
No, I want to shower whenever I fucking want.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I was chatting to a restaurateur who was insistent that when stags and hens came into his restaurant, the hens were way worse.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Than the stags. He said that he would be sexually assaulted repeatedly, but they try and take your clothes off and put their hands down your trousers and stuff. Whereas I guess because he's a bloke, so presumably the stag would not sexually assault him. But he said that the hens were far more deranged than the stag do's were, which I wouldn't have necessarily expected. I guess you have a stereotype in your head, don't you, about British men abroad, which no smoke without fire. There is some pretty bad behaviour, but also no one got arrested. Do you know what I mean? It's very good nature.
But they couldn't catch you.
Yeah, because we're too fucking fast, baby. That's what my legs hurt today.
I got asked to be my best friend's maid of honour last week, which was really nice.
Oh, congratulations!
Really exciting.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, so you can plan a hen do.
I can plan a hen do. Yeah.
No schedule. No showers.
Yeah. No one. I want to do some of the things that you did on your stag do.
Yeah.
I want to make her drink I want to strap bottles of wine to her hands and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But she's marrying this really stand-up guy, really lovely, wealthy, different class to both of us. And I really want him to look at that hen do and go, am I making an error?
That should be the intention for sure. Yeah. If you travel abroad as well, there's some good sort of travel-related drinking challenges that you can do, like port to port and stuff like that. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Nice.
We'll talk after. I'll give you some ideas.
Nice.
I haven't been subjected to them myself. I actually no.
No?
What goes on tour stays on tour, I think.
Oh, very good.
Certainly within this public forum. Should we try and talk about politics a little bit, guys?
sure.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, what happened whilst I was away? I've barely engaged with the news agenda.
Small Boats Week.
Small Boats Week.
How did that go?
Off the
Oh,
flyer.
big week for Rishi. Big week.
I tell a lie. I saw that they had to evacuate the barge
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of Legionnaire's disease. Well, the bacteria, Legionella
Which they
bacteria.
seemingly knew about.
Yeah, and Sean and I were there on Thursday.
Oh, okay. Tell me all
Did you
about
not
it.
even know that?
Mate, I'm literally catching up on. I've still got like
Oh,
200
fair
emails
enough.
to go through. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I'm coming in raw right now. Not like that. Fucking
Audience,
hell.
you've watched more PoliticsJOE content than the person who's in charge of PoliticsJOE has
Yeah.
in the past
Ed?
few days.
I was on holiday, and at this company, we respect our time outside of work. I think you'll find.
You don't extend that generosity to us.
No,
so-
absolutely not. No, it's just for me.
Is that true?
I enjoy.
I've never been contacted when I've
That
been
was
there.
joking. The professional boundaries at Joe.co.uk are very well managed.
Yeah? All right.
Pointing the nerf gun at you behind the desk.
So anyway,
Yeah,
Sean
how was it?
and-
What did you learn?
Well, Sean and I went down there on Thursday. We met with a few people who've been, are councillors in Portland. Sorry, let me just start that again. There is a barge that is obviously parked off of the coast of Portland, which is just off of Weymouth. It's like on a spit. And the councillors of Portland, we met with them and we met with the mayor. And all of the evidence I am now looking at stacks up that they were about to announce this Legionnaires thing. And I just did not see it at all, which I'm really annoyed about. Things like, so there's no life jackets on there. And they specifically weren't put on there. They're not provided. There's cold showers or there's no running water at all. Big clue, there might be something wrong with the water in that specifically.
Yeah.
And that there had to be like regular wash cycles and laundry and things like that, but in a more strict way than you would expect. All of this is saying there was something wrong with the water.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, terrible that.
That is a nightmare.
No analysis from me. So yeah, if you want to shout a story at me and me not understand it, that's you.
And what was the? How do people in the town feel about it?
Well, mixed actually. A lot of people did not know it was going on, and then when we told them it was going on, they were absolutely horrified, and they had some kind of story about how a potential asylum seeker would potentially sexually assault someone in the town. It was like, yeah, but you didn't actually know about this 5 minutes ago. So has that happened? Or is that a, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The barge itself is horrible. It's very prison-like. It was difficult at the beginning because it was the most beautiful day in Weymouth. It was like 26 degrees, the sun was shining, there were kids paddleboarding. And we were like, God, this boat looks really nice.
That's what Ava texted me saying. We've got an issue. It looks amazing.
I quite want to be on it.
You said it looked like pontons, I think.
I did say it looked like pontins, yeah. But it's not. And what's interesting is the capacity. That bit was really underplayed.
Okay,
It
go
really
on.
is meant to be 200 people on there. And they wanted to pack it out with 500. And they had like one laundry room for 500 people, one like exercise room for 500 people. It would have been awful in there, you know?
Didn't I get it going again? Must have cleaned out the bacteria.
Well, I don't know, because the whole reason that they wanted to put this barge there was because Rishi Sunak believed or Suella believed that would be a deterrent, or it would make them look strong in the eyes of the public. And then the polling came back at the end of the week to say that none of the public believed Sunak had a handle on immigration and that Starmer would be better at it.
It's a really interesting political strategy, isn't it? To like increase the salience of an issue, but then do nothing about it.
But that's all the Conservatives' weeks they've done in. Oh, do they do this all the time? The weeks, just
Probably, yeah.
It's something week. It's just very odd. Being like,
Do you not remember Crime Week? When
Oh yeah, that was great.
But no, it's like sorry, it's the inside baseball side of it. It's because like they have the grid right, and it'll be like this.
Yeah.
You know, that's what our comms is on, and then they tell the stenographers and the client journalists that this is what we're going to be doing.
Stenographers.
So yeah, so then they tweet, you know, so then you fucking get your boys out tweeting that it's going to be Crime Week, etc.
Yeah.
Whereas in actual fact, to like regular voter does not give a shit what the Downing Street comm strategy is this week.
But it's also all the things they're highlighting. They're actually just highlighting their own failures.
Yeah.
Because they're like, someone needs to sort out this problem we've been managing for 13 years at this point. And also, voters aren't stupid, because I think everyone knows that they've been in power for 13 years.
I don't know. I think that the buy-in from the media that week was quite extraordinary. The lines that were coming out about it. I mean, not one media outlet I watched a hell of a lot of news last week while I was pretending to do work in this office. No one was highlighting that there aren't any safe or legal routes into the country anymore. And I just find that extraordinary. I mean, some of the people who just died in the Channel over the past week, they're Afghan, they're from Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. 6 of them were. I mean, that's a country that we are meant to be offering safe passage from, and we actually don't offer it.
It's not only like fewer than 100 people from Afghanistan have been resettled under that scheme.
Yeah. Well, it's the Arup and Aaron schemes, and they're both they have a capacity of 5,000 a year, and they filled up pretty much immediately.
I think we've got 21,000 in. Was the latest figures.
But they're not in.
No.
They're going to be dripped over the next couple of years.
It's like places, and then even then they're in hotels, right? They're not like in housing, and they're also now kicking them out of the hotels. So there's like a pretty significant homeless population growing.
It's quite fascinating that you can sort of put someone from a war-torn country into a hotel, not allow them to work, and then at the end of the year go, wow, you've achieved nothing.
Kick you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucked, man.
It's also as well, I think, the lack of recognition of, or all the ideas that are deterrents, like the Rwanda thing is a deterrent, and there's just a complete lack of awareness that, or maybe it's more disingenuous than that. Maybe it's like they're fully aware that the push factors are much more attractive, or are much more powerful than, so like threats of climate change and war are forcing the mass displacement of people. And the idea that they think, oh, you might be put on a plane to Rwanda, but no one has actually gone yet. It's supposed to stop someone who's like scared for their life and fleeing and want to provide like a good life for their family. The idea that that's a more powerful factor is
well, there's
wrong.
also the melting pot of the argument, right? So like everything is sort of confused and conflated so that the ordinary voter just thinks that this sort of like one homogenous group is immigration and that's all the same. And so like for some reason, the people who want to come over here and work in the NHS or come to work as fruit pickers or labourers are also the same as Afghans trying to come over because they're fleeing a war-torn country. So everyone has been lumped into this massive problem pile that we should all be frightened about.
I think it speaks to a really like a broader truth about the latest iteration of the Conservative Party, and specifically Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party, which is, it's just so confused and at times contradictory. So, for example, now that we have left the European Union, there is no longer an excuse, right? You can't point your finger at something and say this is the reason we have immigration. Like, it's now totally within your gift to be in control of it. You're complaining about how high it is when it's totally under your control, increasing the salience of it, and then not actually doing any of the things to it. I don't know if you, again, just to be, for anyone who's not aware, I'm incredibly pro-immigration. I think we need more of it to the country. I think it's a good thing that, for example, students want to come and study here, that people do want to come and work here, and in the extreme cases, in the instance of refugees, we should let those people in too. But if you want to take the political position of those people shouldn't come to the country, and then you have migration where it is, i.e. net quite high, like it's a colossal fuck up. We want to build houses, but actually we kind of don't want to build houses, and we're going to block some. Oh no, but in Cambridge we're going to build more. It's just so jumbled and like nonsensical. There's no concurrent sort of running ideology or philosophy through it. The only thing that he's trying to do really is to have some sort of instance of a personal political legacy before he is inevitably destroyed at the next general election.
Yep.
By the man we all want to have a pint with, Keir Starmer.
A lot of that is to do with the Johnson administration, though, isn't it? Because the departments, like the Home Office, Justice, all of the departments have been complaining that they haven't had a Secretary of State in place long enough to actually do anything or to actually follow any action through. Think about how many, Home Office, well, actually that's not the best one. Think about how many Secretary of States of, culture we've had in the past couple of years. The turnover is so high, you actually can't get any real meaningful work done.
Yeah, Cummings wrote about it, didn't he? That was an interesting moment on the stag. Latest Cummings email just dropped, fellas.
It's in the WhatsApp now.
Yeah, Treasury orthodoxy, right? I was trying to segue there to this polling, yeah.
Well, I didn't want you to.
Okay.
I did. That's funny.
We can carry on talking about the
I'm totally joking.
Okay, sweet. So this is actually the first thing we were meant to talk about, but I think we're about 20 minutes in at this point, aren't we? 33% of people thought Keir Starmer was better for joining them on a night out than Rishi Sunak. I tell you right now, as someone who's been on a night out 4 nights in a row for the last week, I would not want either of those cunts.
Yeah, it's really damning with faint praise. They think you're more fun than Rishi Sunak. Woo!
I guess there's like a degree of the man is a multi-millionaire, so you're probably not going to have to get too many rounds in.
Well, that's what I was just looking for.
So you don't have to get him. He's going to be a...
Neither do I at
No,
this
but as in,
stage.
like, if you're doing rounds, just a Coke for me. Like, that's a...
Okay, this
That's
was
one
the
in your
tweet.
He would get the coke in, famously. He's admitted to that before, right?
Okay.
Addicted to Coke.
Obviously, either way, you're having the worst night of your life. But with one of them, you're getting table service with nice whiskies. And with the other one, you're waking up to a Monzo request for £17. That's it.
I got fucking stung for £1.30 this weekend
can't
for a taxi ride.
believe that.
Do you know
Just
name it?
outrageous.
Do you know name the person and shame them?
No.
I think you should.
No. I've deliberately omitted like enough information so that the people that don't exist in a sort of public persona are in no way associated with the events of the past week.
I like that the idea that we now exist in the public or something. Oh, actually, that was
We are literally broadcasting this conversation on YouTube.
Well,
so
yeah.
People can see this.
And I was also going to say...
you do know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on. What were you going to say?
No, so I went on this date last Wednesday and it was the worst date I've ever been on in my life.
Why?
Because he knew everything about me.
That's
like, I'm
nuts.
not joking. The most niche information you've ever... You could,
Talk about it here.
because I talk about it here. How do these people know these things? It was awful. From the second I sat down, there was actually one point he said something so niche that I spilt a Guinness down myself and then phoned my friend Charlotte like,
knows the lore.
I'm leaving.
A real student of the game, disciple of the game.
Yeah.
Deep in the archives.
So you're probably getting pretty close to rare territory then, right?
Oh no, I'm full on Raya. That's
Okay.
like that was the last.
Normie, you'll ever consider.
Yeah, I was like,
If you're watching this, Ava's not going to go out with you.
well,
Chance for everything, I guess. Who goes home first on a night out, Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak?
Rishi Sunak.
You think?
Of course he does.
He's
Yeah.
got like city boy legacy though.
He's
Do
got
you
energy.
think?
Well, he works in the city, so imagine, and to get promoted, there's a level of like socializing and networking that is like, I imagine, especially when he would have been coming up. I think there's like that implicit level of you have to stay out until the boss goes home.
But I don't think Keir would. Oh no, you're right. I don't think. Yeah, no, I'm right. Keir wouldn't.
Okay, cool.
Keir wouldn't go home. Do you know what I mean? Like Keir would still be there at 2 a.m.
Oh, you think he's the last one?
Yeah,
but as in, like,
and he'd be like,
but-
"Come on, lads."
But you'd like him to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone wants you to go.
Like you're
home,
clearing
mate.
up after a party and someone's still in the kitchen and you get a fright.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like that. He's cleaned the bathroom for you. He's like, I didn't want you to do it in the morning.
That's quite good. Quite a good little impression there. Yeah, I don't know. He does the whole desperately wanting to be normal thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, I love the way they belligerently tell us that he is an Arsenal fan and he's just stand up, loves it.
I think that's one of the least likable things about him.
Yeah, probably.
Because I think, I don't know, any other club, they're a lot less needy than Arsenal fans.
Yeah, and not bottle jobs.
Yeah.
Back when we were in favour with Labour, one of their advisors once offered me the opportunity to go down and film him playing five-a-side in Highbury. And I was like, oh, like interview him. He was like, no, just watch him play five-a-side. He goes and plays once a week. I was like, you want me to stand through a fence, film him playing five-a-side?
Like some kind of voyeur. It's also about what if he's shit? Like, I think that's one of the most damning things as a politician of like, you're
Being
actually
bad
just
at sport.
bad at something.
Yeah.
Wasn't Angela Rayner quite good at it?
At football?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think she did. I think she showed herself to be quite.
There's
quite
that
all right.
really good photo, isn't there, of like Hancock going for a header. And he's like, yeah, looking very
Salmoning,
looking very gimpy. I don't know. Like,
But he wouldn't look good doing anything.
Keir.
No, Hancock.
Yeah, Hancock could. Yeah, never look cool. He made turtleneck look terrible, which
Yeah.
it takes some doing in modern Britain. I'll tell you. What was I going to say? Yeah, this video right where he's like, Keir says, "I love the smell of horse manure and beef burgers and grass," and then that's the end of the video.
Yeah.
Great video.
It's the consummate match day experience.
that's not fair. Then it actually fades to their slogan, which is now like "Make Britain Better" or something.
It has to be better than this.
Yeah, make
Even
it
at the
smell
Emirates, I smell the shit.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do something about the horse shit all over this country. It is a disgrace.
This is filthy. And that's why I'm writing to my good friends Jeremy Corbyn about the horse manure problem in Islington North.
That's funny though, right? The difference between the reaction to like Keir Starmer's stated desire to be viewed as like a normal football fan and Jeremy Corbyn who supports the same club, and how everyone reacted between those two things, right?
I think it was a tweet, this wasn't my joke, but someone was like, Jeremy Corbyn being like, tweeting about Arsenal, like, yes, Ches, get the beers in, son. But then Starmer's like, oh, you're a fraud. It's like him owning a season ticket, that's not an inexpensive gimmick.
No, that's true. No, I don't doubt. No, sorry, I don't doubt that he's a football.
Neither do I.
I know that he is.
But I think people like.
I find it deeply, deeply funny that like the team around him are so desperate to communicate that he's like quote unquote a normal bloke.
Yeah.
And so are like, please just come and watch him play five-a-side.
Do you think he's just like an absolute freak, and that's the only normal thing about him? Being like,
I don't know.
No, I think it's just very like like that thing about Arsenal. They always walk it in. Like it's very that kind of.
And then bottle it at the end of the season, yeah. Possibly. Beautiful build-up. I mean, is there some kind of tortured analogy we can pull here?
Everyone's an Arsenal fan, Every media guy is an Arsenal fan.
It's because of the over-representation of North Londoners in the media.
It probably is that, isn't it? We should get Matthew Goodwin on the podcast. He's going to hate this.
More people should be supporting Millwall in the media.
Yeah. Well, my granddad was a... Let's carry on.
Yeah. I'm a Birmingham City fan.
Good for you.
We won this weekend.
Congrats, Tom Brady.
Yeah, I know, the front of the horrific venture capital organisation that now owns us. It's better than the Chinese venture capital organisation that owned us. The first guy fell foul of the Communist Party and was imprisoned for money laundering.
He was disappeared.
Yeah, he's disappeared. Yeah,
Are you joking? Is that real?
Yeah, 100%. Carson Young, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Why venture capital?
Sorry, it's not strictly accurate to say, but basically foreign investment, billionaires.
I've got no interest now. I just really am interested in venture capitals.
Right, sorry, yeah. But there's this thing that happens in sport whereby like foreign investment firms, for example, like the one that has just bought us, will associate an affable face, a celebrity, a Ryan Reynolds, if you will, or a Tom Brady, as is happening with Birmingham City now, where this isn't necessarily specifically what's happened, but usually they will gift them like a minority share, like 1%. They'll give them 1% and give them an emblematic honorary role, like co-chair of the club or something. And then effectively you make Tom Brady sort of the public-facing persona that's associated with the club, whereas in actual fact, it's just like it's for the club. It sort of serves a brand positioning job, and for him, he gets a bit of equity and some kind of association with it. But generally speaking, he actually has nothing to do with the actual management or day-to-day running of the club.
So Ryan Reynolds has nothing to do with the running of that club?
I think it's slightly different with Wrexham because they're worth much less than. Well, I was going to say than Birmingham are, but we're not exactly fucking money bags.
And not in our hearts,
yeah.
And not in our hearts?
Not in the hearts
of
men.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about like Heart of Midlothian. I was like, what?
No, they do. They are involved, but it's not necessarily as simple or as like, oh, Tom Brady now owns my football club.
Yeah,
is basically what I'm getting at here.
Yes Theory are now part of that consortium that owns Burnley.
What is Yes Theory?
They're this YouTube channel that are like, they've got millions of subscribers. And they're the one. Oh, is it Yes Theory or Do Perfect?
I don't know, man.
Ooh.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're on your own.
I'm actually going to check
this
that.
is like earlier when he was talking
bro.
about Steve or whatever his name was.
Who?
The guy who wants to have human pets.
Oh, Cybersmith.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Dude Perfect, not Yes Theory. Dude Perfect.
Cool.
They kind of pioneered this style of videos that's like, we threw a basketball from the top of a stadium and landed it in the hoop. Like they do like a lot of that. Are you drinking off milk?
I don't think you should drink that. Yeah.
I was having the worst day of all time.
I'm pretty far
it might
through.
clean you out.
I think the damage is done at this point.
Yeah,
so.
Jesus. Might flush you out though.
This episode has focused far too heavily on my hangover.
And various YouTubers who
Yeah.
won football clubs.
But yeah, anyway.
Read the Smith thing.
Oh yeah, the Cybersmith thing.
Oh, okay.
Is it just about we want the audience to know this person exists? It's not really.
I saw a tweet, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, which now you're well acquainted with what my mental state was like this morning. I understand how fully harrowing it was. And it was a photo of a man. He has sort of a fairly eccentric facial hair, sort of like part mutton chop, part big old tash. Vaguely steampunk. would
Yeah,
you say,
very
in his-
steampunk.
in his aesthetic.
Yeah.
A fedora, I think, a hat, some kind of suit. And the tweet was something like, this guy would give you the crisp, if you dapped him up, he'd give you the crispest dap and a lovely hug. And I think whoever tweeted that presumably knows who Cybersmith is and what he thinks about things, but was trying to troll people into thinking. So anyway, you click on the tweet, you go into the replies, and it then becomes clear quite quickly that the man has some very interesting views about keeping humans as pets. Tastefully, please note that their genitalia are tastefully covered by loincloths, but expressed an interest in humanely removing their eyeballs to reduce their independence, chopping off their toes so that they'd have to walk on all fours, but also as their owner, you wouldn't have to trim their nails.
To keep costs down.
Yeah, and time.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this story, but that's what I read it this morning.
It's good. It's good to know. It's good to be exposed to different ideas about the world. It's a melting pot. We can't all be in some kind of liberal echo chamber where we're never discussing the merits of human pets.
Who would be more likely to have a human pet,
Oli.
Rishi or Keir? What?
Sorry. I thought we were making it the three of us.
I've got two. Right here. Rishi probably has one, right? Like he can afford one.
I'd be it, to be honest.
Wow.
I'd be living
is
a
this what
much...
you're on rare for?
Yeah, but... Do you know, this is not going to become a podcast just about my dating life, but do you remember like a year ago when another fellow journalist in the lobby was like to me like, oh, you're on Field as well. Field is like the app for...
It's the sex app.
The sex app. And I was like, no, I'm really not. And he was like, yeah, no, you are. It's cool. I'm on it too. Like we can, like, it's all good. And I was like, no, I don't think you understand. I'm really, really not. He like, gets out the profile. And he's been talking to this person. And I'm like, that is not me.
That is awful.
Yeah.
That's really bad catfishing, isn't it?
Really bad catfishing. Because it was...
But I suppose what are the odds that the person you're speaking to knows the person that you're pretending to be? Probably quite low.
Yeah, true. Do they not have verification? Like, do you not have to like send a photo of your ID or anything?
I don't know.
Create accounts like that?
I don't think so. Oh, you've never used dating apps, have you?
No.
Yeah. Because you're an incel. That's fine.
Because I hate women.
I think on Hinge can you be verified?
I don't know.
I think there is some level of verification, but not. But also I think on an app like Field, which is explicitly for sex, there is like a level of privacy that you probably would have to maintain or want to maintain.
At risk of making myself sound even more like a boomer, even though you've just outed me as never having used a dating app, I was reading in the Sunday Times.
Physical copy.
There's actually an increasing user base on Field who aren't just using it to shag, and they're actually using it because they think that because of the sort of open and honesty of people when they're expressing things like what they're into and what their kinks are, that you get a better degree of honesty when you're just conversing with people and therefore using it to actually go on dates, not just
I see that.
not just to fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that falls into the category of people that I'm terrified of, who describe themselves as sapiosexuals. Do you know about this?
Yeah.
Like they're attracted to someone's brain, and it, like, you know, how they think and how they act, and it's like, well,
I'm
what
sorry.
else are us? Like,
Yeah.
are we all just so carnal that we're like,
no, just face.
yeah.
I'm actually a bit of a sapiosexual. I don't mind when women speak. You feel free to use that as a prompt, guys, as well. That'll be...
That's really good. Really good.
Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah.
What to? Where are we going to go from here?
I think we're going to go to gender neutral toilets.
Oh, sick. I don't mind when women pee either. So that's...
So one of the bits of news that came out also whilst I was on stagging, the government has said it wants to all new public buildings in England to have separate male and female toilets. Equalities Minister Kemi Badenoch said it was, quote, vital that women feel safe and, quote, that their needs are respected. The, again, quote, rise in gender neutral toilets meant female users had felt unfairly disadvantaged and faced longer queues, the government added. That's it. They can't piss enough. Right, fine. The government says separate unisex or universal toilets should be provided in new buildings if there's space, but should not be installed at the expense of female toilets.
Okay, as a woman who pees...
Glad to have you with us, sister.
Where was the consultation on public toilets? That debate kind of came about during the pandemic. You know, when you could go out and you could have a pint, like takeaway pints, and then everyone realised there's no public toilets anymore, and it's fine for Ed because he can just pee anywhere.
I do.
But
as is his right as a man.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, I noticed during the pandemic, I was like, oh my God, you can't pee anywhere. So if there's this massive concern now suddenly about women peeing safely and not queuing, why aren't you opening the public toilets? Where's that conversation?
One assumes that destroying local council budgets has meant that public toilets have had to be closed, right? That's happened.
But if you're concerned about private businesses and women queuing in private businesses, surely you should be concerned about that as well.
No, sorry, I'm totally agreeing with your point. Like, I'm in full agreement with you. I just meant like
anti-women pissing brigade.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Why am I going with this?
Finish that sentence.
I love it when bitches piss. I'm just totally unhinged this morning, ladies and gentlemen. No, go completely tangentially for a second. I do want to carry on talking about this. Did you see that engineer, that lad, got like crushed by one of the toilets in Soho?
No.
What?
You know, there's
Like the
those.
public?
Yeah, you know, there's ones that like come out the ground.
No.
Yeah, I was working on it.
I don't know those.
Well,
They come out of the ground.
it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
Really?
pop-up ones. Yeah.
They literally come out of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a urinal. Yeah.
That's cool.
There's one by Charing Cross.
I'm so anxious, and let me check this, please, before we just carry on talking about it.
Oh my God, that's insane. Did he go down with it?
Yeah.
Don't laugh.
Yeah, bang on. Yeah.
He went down with it.
He was working on it, and it just started descending and crushed
Jesus.
him.
That's awful.
But I don't understand. So when it goes underground, then it's not fully intact. You can't just be
Maybe like collapsible.
collapsible. Well, who thought of that? Whose bold idea was that?
Yeah.
Why isn't there some kind of check to see some? Sorry, as a violent claustrophobic, this is really quite unlocking a new
Yeah.
fear in me.
Once, this is a lighter tale than that, I think. I was at Primavera Festival last summer, and I went to the bathroom, and I was blind drunk, and I saw lots of guys on these like in these urinals that were kind of like semi-private, but they were on a bit of like a pedestal. They're kind of like you went up like a small ramp to get to them, and so I went up there. There's just like a hole in the ground. Started weeing, and I realised I was like, this is the privacy kind of screens are really quite low, as in they only came up to like here on me,
Yeah.
and then someone. And I realised there's lots of women looking at me, booing. Like, fully. Like, oh, boo! And one shouted, that is fucked up! Because I'd inadvertently gone into a female urinal. So, and I was also, it was the very first one as you came into the toilet area. So it was so like, you're a woman needing to pee.
Step aside, women.
Let me show you
how it's done.
I was mortified, but I was like, I wasn't going to stop. And then I was like, that's so weird. They weren't signposted. But I was just drunk and I'd walk past the sign because I checked the next day.
Yeah, I've seen.
You went back to the scene of the crime to check.
Well, I needed to pee again.
That's rookie. That's rule one. You never go back. Yeah, like festival toilet blogs, right? You know, everyone fucking is experiencing that horror collectively. You know, You'll be stood pissing whilst someone else is shitting next to you. Like, who cares?
Do you think like a spad in the women equalities team saw me pissing?
We've got to stop this cunt.
And somehow thought we could legislate for better toilets in Spain.
Yeah, okay. I mean, how long are we going to...
Is it women equalities or would it be local government?
It's women. It's Kemi Badenoch.
It's Spain, no, it's equalities, yeah. I mean,
right.
let's just not kid ourselves that this is anything but just completely like gammon-faced culture war.
Oh, it is not. It's nothing.
There's so little point in engaging with this, like, in
Yeah, here
what's
we
the
are.
opposite of disingenuous?
This is disingenuous.
Oh, I know this. Fuck. Mick Lynch said it to me. What was it?
I don't know.
Oh, ingenious.
Something. Yeah, he
Yeah.
came up and he whispered it in my ear. He goes, no one ever says it's this. Whatever the word was. And I was like,
ingenuous,
they
presumably.
never do, Mick.
Yeah, it's probably ingenuous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean,
I don't
the
know.
idea that if there's not a woman, like the female toilet sign outside is some kind of fucking force field that protects women in toilets from predatory men. Because that's what it is. Women don't feel safe, right? There might be a man who says he's a woman who's going to come into the toilet and I won't feel safe because he'll be in there with me. If a man wants to do that, right, if there's that type of bloke out there, he is just going to fucking do that anyway. He could maybe dress up like a woman to go into the toilet, or he'll just go into the fucking toilet and be in there. Like, whether or not it's a unisex sign or a female sign on the door does not stop that from happening. It's just fucking so dumb. So dumb.
It's also as well. This may be a smaller. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But say you're a non-binary person, it would be quite gender dysphoric to go into.
I wish you'd stop drinking that. It's really making me feel ill.
I'm there.
I thought that was in response to the point I was
No,
making.
carry on,
And I was
sorry.
It
Like,
makes you feel sick.
if say you're someone who doesn't identify as a man or a woman, then it's just quite shit to be like forced to choose one of them. That's not what you are.
Yeah.
It's nice that there's gender neutral toilets as an option for people.
Well, a disabled toilet has never been gendered, so I don't
No.
really understand that. There's a study that the government did a consultation and they collected evidence between 2020 and 2021. And I actually got it written it down here.
We can see.
Respondents, there were 14,500 people responded to this, right? Of that, 83% said they were supportive of non-gendered toilets. I guess that was like 3 years ago, so that was before the hysteria really ramped up over it. But it's not a real thing. It's not a real issue.
Well.
GB News, the worst ones, always out and out, talking about gendered toilets and how we need to have separate. They've got non-gendered toilets in their bloody studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they do. Yeah. And it's a fucking nightmare when I've been there as well, because let me tell you, fellas, I don't know if this is just me or you guys as well, but the sound of feminine piss hitting the toilet bowl, it's like a red rag to a bull for me. I'm just fucking absolutely deranged. You know, it's catnip. It's an aphrodisiac.
There's an Ollie Dugmore shaped hole in one of the doors. He's
Like the Flash in The Incredibles. What?
Speedy Gonzalez, or like
Someone did say to me that the worst bit about it, and they'd like to get rid of those gender neutral toilets at GB News, because they came out the other way, like their stalls, they came out and Calvin Robinson was doing his hair, and they were like, horrendous. He needs his own toilet. The rest of us can use these ones.
I saw one of the other. God, Twitter has really become a hellscape recently, right? Like it's. I opened it up this morning. I saw the Cybersmith talking about his.
We didn't know who
human
that man
pets.
was until this morning.
Didn't know who he was until I came in and talking about it. I then saw a video of Calvin Robinson and Lawrence Fox on what would appear to be some kind of lads' holiday.
Yeah.
that is like hell blunt rotation. That'd be the least fun holiday of all time.
Just me, the Cybersmith, Lawrence and Calvin.
Who would you rather?
Two-toke pass to the left, fellas.
Shag, marry, kill. Cybersmith, Lawrence Fox, Calvin Robinson.
What's wrong with you?
Sorry, you need to open up your liberal mind to these, to the possibility you have to do these three things.
I'd marry Cybersmith because I'd want to
That's
be.
insane.
Have the human pet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if you marry him, you're not his pet. Like, you have a pet. as a
But
couple.
imagine if that's a general attitude to
Humanity.
and he probably has some very, very strong views about, marital ownership of a spouse.
I'd rather be with a man who wants a human pet than a man who is as divorced as Lawrence is.
So that means fuck Lawrence, kill Calvin.
I don't know if we can put this in, can we?
Why not?
Think about killing someone.
Who are you shagging?
All three. Non-stop.
Hellish blunt rotation, great foursome.
I'm not an incel like Ollie, so I've got a really open mind. Me and those three lads on field are cleaning up.
Looking for a fifth.
So he did blackface, and then
What?
Lawrence
Lawrence
Fox.
Fox.
What?
What did you think that video was about?
I didn't watch it.
Oh.
I saw them walking in like a what was clearly some kind of like villa garden in Portugal and was like, fucking get that away from me.
Lawrence met up with Calvin to do a video about Lawrence's blackface video.
When did Lawrence do blackface?
On holiday.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm transracial, and like drew
Yeah.
on his face.
He was like burning pride flags as well, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. Rainbow flags.
Yeah.
I think he's
That was also a something we weren't aware of in Prague. It was Prague Pride weekend.
fun.
So Saturday night was fucking litty.
I bet.
Litty.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I bet it goes off.
You and the anti-trans brigade. Just
Yeah,
like,
sorry. When I say the stag dude didn't realise we were picketing Prague Pride. No, it was. It was
You
lit.
in Turning Point, Czech Republic. Czechia.
I mean, we've derailed it, but I think what you should know if you're listening to this is that when September comes around and we're back, Parliament's back in session, nothing will change.
There'll be a bit of slightly harder news. Yeah. What are you expecting September-wise? Just like basically year-long election campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I would take the last 3 days of August off, just as kind of like the last halcyon of like, I don't know.
This long,
Yeah.
So August has
muggy
been-
summer.
This summer's been so crap.
Yeah, August has been. I was like, why is this August worse? But then last summer we had a Tory leadership election.
Yeah, that's why it was
fun.
so much fun.
But it was hot,
Was that as well?
sunny.
Yeah, two of my favourite things.
But you know,
The sun and the
Tory leadership
leadership
election.
contest.
when September
Hustings.
rolls around, they're going to be, you know, both Starmer and Sunak, they're going to be laying out their visions for the next year. It's going to be really good fun, you guys. We'll be back on.
There's so close to like a solitary tear rolling down your eye as you smile, like saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to Conservative Conference officially, are we?
Not officially.
No.
I'll be
Because
there, hanging out.
the drama that's all been kicking off on the amongst the lobby journalists is that, so it got solved, the issue of the Conservatives were going to make journalists pay to go. The journalists were like, this is a press freedom issue, you can't charge us. And then there was victory for the journalists. The Conservatives weren't going to charge anymore. Everyone was very happy about it. 2 days later they find out there's just a sneaky charge. So you can go, but if you want to use like the Wi-Fi, you have to pay the original fee.
It's a fucking file.
So
Yeah. Which is extraordinary.
That'll be a good old weekend, won't it? Be a fun old weekend.
my birthday.
Fucking hell, happy birthday. son.
Traditionally, that's what I did on my birthday last year. It was vox popping Conservatives outside of in Birmingham, and then I went to a beer hall.
I'm going to
Oh,
tell
that's
your
quite a fun
girlfriend
birthday.
that it would be rude of her not to attend conference with you and celebrate your birthday
She's
there.
understandably quite annoyed that I'm going, which is fair, but it's also work, and it's my genuinely favourite thing to do work-wise. And I'm
I
not
would
kidding.
actually go as far as to describe it as your calling.
I love it. It's so fun. People just telling you, people just revealing truths about themselves. And you're like, we met a second ago, and now you're saying something I would not say if I had a gun to my head. It's great.
Watch out.
Maybe don't, I don't think they're watching this, maybe.
There's a good few Tories who watch this.
Yeah, but not like lots.
What are you trying to say about our audience?
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
sorry,
Councillor
I don't-
Tom, thanks for listening.
That's how we met, Councillor Tom.
I know.
As I both popped him.
Yeah.
But I think the young people who think there's not enough Christianity in the Conservative Party, they're not PoliticsJOE heads.
Yeah.
I don't think.
But then they go off in the evening at Tory conference and they have sex with each other in public in the bars,
What?
which is something I saw with my bare eyes.
Your bear.
Fucking colour. Orange. The apparatus.
I was at an event there. Like at my previous job, I wasn't there for fun, like I do with Labour conference.
No.
No, that's all a joke.
No, it wasn't.
There were two advisors having sex with each other in the corner of the bar. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
Did it look like normal sex?
It was like she was kind of like bent over the table sort of thing. But like with a leg.
So they weren't even like trying to hide it.
No. But the leg, I just remember her leg being at such a bizarre angle that it just didn't. I was like, that's not improving access at all.
So like sometimes you see like, I don't know, a video of like someone getting a hand shandy in a shopping centre or something, and like they're trying to be like non-sus.
Yeah.
Like he'll just be sort of like checking out,
Sweating.
yeah. Clicking off for dear life. But there's like, I don't know, you could adopt a position that wasn't perhaps necessarily like
On display.
whatever you said,
Or you
a
could-
leg at like 170 degree
Or
angle.
you could go to your hotel room.
I think.
or just fucking do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
Call
meant
me
me.
a- no. Call me a prude, but I don't know. They
I
presumably
think
have
it was
somewhere to
quite well
stay.
documented at the time. I think it was like, it was quite well written about. It was a big thing.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I remember it.
Well, you saw it with your
Well,
bare eyes.
The
so-
leg wasn't high up. That's
what
what I'm
was-
saying. I don't think the leg improved access.
What was the headline?
No,
Somebody fucked a Tory advisor.
I think it was just like little
Breaking
aside.
news.
Tories fucked again. Tories fuck each other, not the country.
Tory gets laid for the first time.
I'll find it, and then on the next podcast, I'll show it to you.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Shall we?
Is there anything else?
I think that was a pretty top tier podcasting that's just happened.
Yeah.
So that was the most like 3 people with microphones speak podcast we've done.
Yeah.
I was like, there's going to be lots of comments like, not everyone should have a podcast. Just mainly from me.
See you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.